Hello traders, Gary Wagner here just before noon in Honolulu, 5 o'clock in New York. It is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018, and this is the Daily Report for Gold and Silver. Nice continuation of the rallies in both the equities and precious metals markets have carried on from last year into this new year. For the first trading day of the new year, we have seen substantial rises in gold, trading up about $9.90, trading at $13.19, as well as silver, up approximately 8 cents at $17.22. Now, we've seen good tailwinds from the dollar, which continues to fall, down about a quarter point at 91.55. And we have seen some tremendous rises in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, equities as a whole, NASDAQ actually breaking above 7,000 for the first time in history, a 100-point gain also in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and even Bitcoin followed suit, with Bitcoin futures trading at $15,060, a net gain of $510 when we look at the CBOE, and $520 gain in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange at $14,990. Gold traders began the new year on a strong note, with gold trading sharply higher, up about $9.20, currently trading at $1,318.60. Over the last 8 trading days, we have seen solid consecutive gains ever since gold broke through the 50 as well as the 200-day moving average. That's when we saw an accelerated move to the upside. And what is most interesting is levels that we were looking at that could have created some potential resistance, in fact, were easy in terms of how gold just barreled through in terms of pricing. The first price point, of course, was about $12.85, and then this last point of potential resistance was at $1,300. The last trading day of the year, as well as the first trading day of the new year, certainly put any kind of resistance aside as we saw pricing accelerate, now above a 61.8% retracement, which resides at $13.15. We really don't see any real resistance in the market on a technical basis till about $13.35, and the fact of the matter is that recent price gains have been really accelerated by geopolitical hotspots in Iran as well as North Korea. But you can really see the strength of this most recent movement by converting our daily chart into a Heikin-Ashi, because what the Heikin-Ashi does better than any other chart that I know of is it gives you a visual display of strength of the trend. And there's a couple of ways that we would actually gear or look at that strength. The first way is body size. Obviously, the larger the bodies are in comparison to the prior bodies, tells you that the trend itself is actually developing more momentum and not winding down. You can really see that when we look at the recent decline. This, of course, coming into mid-December when prices touched 1238. We have this pivotal candle here, and that is the last time we have any candle with any kind of a lower wick. And what the lower wick is saying is that at some point during the trading day, gold prices actually traded below the midpoint of the prior candle. Because as you recall, the key difference between the Heikin-Ashi chart and a Japanese candlestick chart is the way they fix the opening price. In a Heikin-Ashi, simply put, it opens at the midpoint of the prior trading day. And you can clearly see that when you look at where you have your opening price. And then the second way is body size tells us that if anything, there is more momentum left in this current rally. Therefore, my recommendation is to maintain your current long position, which we got in at 1265. We've got some very decent profits. And as you know, I sent out a special trade alert this morning, and my recommendation is that all traders taking our calls should have moved their stops higher to just below 1300, because my sense is that 1300 is now going to become support rather than resistance. And traders, silver is certainly riding on the momentum that currently exists with gold. We have a sizable rally. We have silver trading up almost 9 cents higher, 17.23. It's about a 0.5% gain. In the same way that we witnessed gold bottom around December 11th of last year, we saw silver bottom at just about 15.60 per ounce. Now, we have seen the prices really move up, now trading well over $17 per ounce at 17.23. We had made recommendations for those of our subscribers that are initiating or have long positions in silver, put them on when we recommended taking a long position in gold. We had also mentioned a stop placement below 1672, and my recommendation is for those subscribers, consider moving your stop just below $17 at this point, with silver trading currently March futures at 17.23. And finally, traders, Bitcoin futures do appear as though we might have seen the first level of support come into the market, roughly at 13,000, 13,500, and begin to move higher off of those prices. Bitcoin futures, this is the CBOE contract, currently trading up $530 with a single Bitcoin valued at $15,080. Now, as you can see, I've put in a fib retracement from the entire trading range since the futures contract began to trade a few weeks ago. Realize this is a very short-term chart. We're using 240-minute bars because in terms of historical data on this chart, there frankly is none. So we are going to work with this smaller data set. But what we can say is this: after some wild gyrations in which we saw futures in essence open at about 15,000, track to the record high at 20,500 and drop like a rock down to about 11,000, has returned to, let's call it, balance, in which we have current pricing pretty much where they began trading 2 weeks ago. My sense is our next real level of resistance on any kind of a technical basis has got to be at about 15,900, and that is the 50% retracement of the range we have seen, with real resistance based upon this top coming in at 16,500. The key, traders, is volume in the market. And as we look at volume, and realize this is broken up into 4-hour candles, but as we look at volume, volume is still quite tame. And so we want to see how this market kind of matures as we move into the first month of trading in 2018. Traders, if today is any indication of what we can expect to see in this year, investors of all asset classes have an opportunity to make substantial profits. Precious metals running on a couple of things: geopolitical concerns in Iran as well as North Korea, the potential for real inflation on the rise. Equities trading at all-time record highs, specifically the NASDAQ. We are certainly witnessing history. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you, as always, good trading. We certainly are getting that for the first trading day of this year. We'll talk to you tomorrow for another daily update and review.